Barcelona's extraordinary season comes to a close this evening in front of their own adoring fans and a watching world eager to discover what lies ahead for this great club. Over what's already shaping to be a summer of change across Europe, the young fans in attendance here, a wonderful family occasion. President involved in the warm embraces before kickoff as well. The club as a whole taking one final look down the league table tonight at all those teams who over the course of 38 prior rounds simply couldn't interfere with their romp towards their 22nd Liga crown. Of course, that's only the start of the tale when it comes to explaining Barca's recapturing of the league title from Real Madrid. But tonight, they hope to celebrate their incredible league campaign with a final win over Malaga at the Camp Nou. A win that would see them hit 100 points for the very first time in their history, thus matching Real Madrid's record-breaking century of points gathered last season. It's Barcelona against Malaga. A farewell to important figures in both clubs' ranks. Messrs Abidal and Pellegrini facing an emotional evening as we welcome the two teams onto the turf. Our season of live and exclusive coverage here on beIN Sport of La Liga and of this imperious Barcelona team over the course of 38 games, tasting defeat just twice. And that 100-point record is just one of several that Barca are going for tonight. One more win this season would make it a club record 32 in La Liga as well. And if they manage to get 4 goals tonight, they will, of course, now set a new club record in terms of goals scored over the course of the season. Already on 111. Quite remarkable stuff. Let's take a look at the two lineups for you then. Barcelona first. And well, there's no Dani Alves or Leo Messi. Both are on international duty. Of course, Argentina have some really important games coming up in World Cup qualifying. Despite Messi still recovering from his hamstring issues, he's been given the all clear to link up with his Argentine colleagues. So here's the 11 that Villanova puts out. Adriano's not fit to take his place in the centre of defence. And Abidal is on the bench, perhaps a one final appearance tonight from the substitutes bench for Eric Abidal. We do expect that. Valdez is also rested, giving a chance for Pinto. So here's the Malaga 11 that Manuel Pellegrini fields in his final game in charge of the Southerners. And it is rather expansive. We see Joaquin also linked with a move away from the club in the summer. Baptista, Isco and Santa Cruz will pose a scoring threat.
Malaga, Club de Fútbol. Willy, Jesus Gámez, Wellington, Lugano, Camacho.
Was voted the best player in Europe at the end of last year, and he's a #1 priority signing for a lot of big clubs around Europe. This is probably going to be his last game for Malaga. He's a huge talent, deserves to be playing at a really elite club.
Questions as to whether he will be following Manuel Pellegrini to Manchester City, if that is the final destination for the outgoing Malaga manager. He's signed, well, he's got a verbal agreement with Manchester City, just needs to put pen to paper on that. But the departure of Isco would be a real blow to the Spanish League. A quality player and one for the future. Have been linked also with Real Madrid. He may still end up going there.
And Barcelona, indeed. There's been a few reports that he might be headed that way, but I think we'll see that a few more times today. We had the shot of Eric Abidal on the bench, and as the game starts, I'm sure it won't be long before we hear the first shouts of Abidal from the Barca fans. They'll be desperate to see him emerge from the bench sooner rather than later.
Well, there's little that you can guarantee about this game, but I would say almost definitely Eric Abidal is going to feature. We shall see how much of a role he plays in this game. Dani Alves is not in the Barcelona side. He's off on international duty with Brazil, and we just have those two, well, long-standing absences for Barcelona as well. Leo Messi, of course, through injury. We have Thiago, Montoya, Teo and Bartra back from international duty, and Abidal is back. He's been injured for the last few games, but as we say, we expect him to get a run out. Here's Baptista on the ball. He's robbed of it by Cesc Fabregas. Malaga have the ball back. Well, Malaga and Barcelona. They've played plenty of times so far this year, including in the Copa del Rey. Some excellent games in that series between them.
Yeah, a lot of goals as well, and I think that's something we can expect today, is goals. Malaga's recent away record mentioned how they have struggled away from home. They've lost their last 5 and they've conceded 19 in those, so it's likely that we'll get some goals today. Let's hope so anyway.
Ball sent into the middle of the park. Here's Xavi. Has been something of an impact sub in recent weeks. Xavi has been in some spectacular form, though, when he has been used. Thiago has been frequently used in the middle instead of him, as they've rested Xavi, advancing slightly in years, but still likely to be a mainstay of the Barcelona side next year. They still haven't found that real replacement for.
No, and will it be Thiago is the question. I think people have been looking at him for a couple of years and thinking, will Thiago be the player eventually who can take over from Xavi? But this very week, there's been a lot happening this week at Camp Nou for the last week of the season. A lot of talk that he may be on his way, because his release clause at the moment, because he's not played many games this season, his release clause is only 18 million euros, which is an absolute bargain for a player of his quality. So lots of suggestions that he may be on his way, which would be a big blow for Barca if they lose him, especially at that price.
Joaquin just taking a knock on his ankle there, courtesy of the tackle from Sergio Busquets. He looks okay to continue.
And looking at this Malaga team, talking about Barcelona departures, Joaquin is one who almost certainly is on his way. Fiorentina, we believe. I think it's more interesting to speculate which of these Malaga players will still be here next season, rather than those which will be leaving in the summer. They're probably going to be decimated.
Ball played through, opportunity for Barcelona straight away. It's pulled back and put in within 3 minutes. That old Barcelona connection, maybe the last time we see that. Pedro to David Villa, and Villa puts the ball home. Football Club Barcelona 1, Malaga 0. An early goal after a defence-splitting pass.
Yeah, we said that there would be goals. Didn't expect it that quickly, but what a wonderful ball through for Pedro, and then great vision from Pedro and selflessness as well, of course. Look at the timing of the run. Beautiful pass from Iniesta, and most people there would have shot in Pedro's position, but that's great vision to just square it. And Villa, a goal in his last home game, last game for Barcelona, could well be. He may well be on the way to the English Premier League in the summer. Couldn't miss that one.
David Villa gets his league tally up to 10 goals. Barcelona go 1-0 in front against Malaga. Barcelona in the driving seat on the road to that 100-point tally. Malaga need a response quick, because Barcelona will just keep piling on the pressure.
They will, and you've got to wonder what Malaga's morale is going to be like. They've been through so much this season with all the financial problems they've had, being left out to dry really by their owner, who stopped putting funds in around a year ago, leaving them with huge debts that have got them into trouble with UEFA, that have got them a ban from next season's European competitions that they're appealing against. Then that's the negative, but then they had the positive of that magnificent run to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Could have gone to the last 4, but for conceding those 2 goals at Borussia Dortmund, bringing them back down again. Such an up and down season for them, and now they're bound to be physically and maybe more importantly mentally shattered by everything they've gone through, and they just want to get onto the beach now. I'm sure they can't have much motivation left in them. It's going to be a long evening for them, I think.
So it's Fabregas, sprays the ball over. It's one to chase for Martin Montoya. Montoya looks up, has Eliseo covering him. He plays a sloppy ball that Julio Baptista is robbed of by Gerard Piqué. Piqué gets up to recover, and Barcelona regain possession, and they'll just slow things down. So important for Barcelona getting the early goal. They can dictate the pace now. They want to put on a show here at the Camp Nou, so expect plenty more attacks at least in this game. What remains to be seen is if Malaga put up any opposition.
It does, and what the goal will hopefully do from the neutrals' viewpoint is draw Malaga forward a little more. Visiting teams here will always invariably come to keep it tight, get men back, keep it at 0-0 for as long as possible, and restrict their attacking ambition to the occasional counter. Malaga obviously already down, now have to go and find a goal somewhere, so hopefully that will make it a more open and entertaining game.
Joaquin, lovely turn from him. Still can't get it past his man, though. Well, an excellent bit of play on the far side. It was Jesus Gomez, one of the quality right-backs in La Liga. He plays the ball to Joaquin. Could be a chance for Malaga, but surging out of the defence. Martin Montoya wins the ball back. He played over the top. Again, Barcelona just crowding out outside the area. Malaga, with all that attacking talent that they have on display, you'd expect them to have a few more goals to their tally this season.
Yeah, and that's maybe an indication of Pellegrini's style. I think he's not as attacking at Malaga as he was at Villarreal, and not as attacking as maybe he's got a reputation for, especially away from home. They are generally fairly defensive-minded, and they actually had one of the best defensive records in the league until recently, when they've started to ship a few. They do like to get men behind the ball, especially away from home, but you're right, they have got a lot of talented attacking players, but they're going to lose them all. That's the problem. Said Isco's going to go, Joaquin on his way. They're two fundamental players for Malaga this season. Wonder how they're going to replace them when they haven't got any money to invest as well.
Ball's with Xavi Hernandez. He puts for Barca over to David Villa, who's put Barcelona in front in the early going in this game. Fabregas his pass to Iniesta. What can he create on the edge of a box? Oh, it's well left there for Pedro, who's on inspired form so far in this game. Montoya's cross takes the deflection, which is claimed by Willy Caballero.
And he's had an excellent season, hasn't he, Caballero? I think with the talk of Victor Valdez and the shot there of him leaving and Barca needing a new goalkeeper, I don't think many people would think, oh, well, Willy Caballero will be the man they'll go for. But the way he's played this season, he's been as good as anyone, really, especially in Europe. In the big games, he's played particularly well for Malaga.
Well, Caballero has been courting the Barcelona bosses, saying that he'd love to have an interest expressed in him, and who wouldn't? Jose Manuel Pinto is in goal this evening, but surely not considered as the main choice goalkeeper for next season.
No, he's the backup, and he's the cup keeper. He plays in the Copa del Rey, and when Valdez in the past hasn't been able to, but they're really going to miss Valdez. More than 500 appearances for Barcelona, and it's going to be interesting to see what Barca do this summer, whether they will move him on now or they'll let him run his contract out. Tito Villanova yesterday, the manager, said that he would be very happy for Valdez to stay. Whether the board feel that way as well, or whether they want to get 10, 12 million out of him now rather than him going for nothing next summer, we'll have to see. And I think it would be a difficult year for Valdez if he does stay, because he's admitted openly he's lost the motivation to play for Barca, and he feels the pressure of it. So to have to do that for an entire season, every mistake would be picked upon. Is he trying? Has he given up? I think it might be better for both parties to have that clean break now, and it would give Barca some money to put towards a replacement as well.
Well, you would imagine that Barcelona would be looking for a solution to the problem. They've played a couple of sloppy balls there. Joaquin tries to bring the ball out. He's met by a solid challenge from Andres Iniesta. It's out for a throw-in, which will be taken from the far side. Malaga still to get a real attack going in this game. They've made ventures towards the Barcelona box. The closest they've come was a headed back pass to Jose Manuel Pinto, his first touch of the game.
And we've not seen too much of Isco yet, playing out on the left wing, and I think it'll be interesting as his career progresses to see where he ends up playing. He's very similar as a player, just on the ball there, letting it go out for a throw. Very similar to Andres Iniesta. He's often been compared to Iniesta, and maybe he will be his long-term replacement in the Spanish national team. And similar to Iniesta, is he a winger? Is he a central midfielder? He may well flip between the two, but I think it is best when he's in the middle.
Well, thrown in, taken down on the chest by Julio Baptista. It's picked up on the left-hand side, and attempted drag back to Baptista from Roque Santa Cruz. And Pinto plays with fire, as is his wont. Very nearly plays in Malaga for a first opportunity in this game.
Yeah, it's quite funny at Camp Nou. Whenever Pinto's playing and the ball goes back to him, there's a general atmosphere of, oh, what's he going to do amongst the fans. With Valdez, he's so good with the ball at his feet, and that is one of the reasons that they value him so highly. And whoever they do look to bring in, whenever it is, the new keeper will have to be able to play football with the ball at his feet, receive passes, play out from the back. Not exactly Pinto's strength, and there's always an intake of breath whenever he gets the ball.
Pinto made a mistake of a similar ilk in the Copa del Rey game between these two sides. He's only had a few touches so far in this game, and most have come from Barcelona back passes. Here's Cesc Fabregas on the ball, but now Montoya, Barcelona linking the triangles together, getting the play going, dictating the pace, and Malaga will have to do something to break up the rhythm, because Barcelona, whilst they've been slightly off with their passes so far in this game, look at them now just testing the waters.
It's a typical Barca home game, isn't it? The visiting team getting everyone back behind the ball. Barcelona possession on the halfway line, looking to work an angle. They're not going to force it forward. They want to pass it forward, create openings rather than force openings. Malaga, despite having conceded that early goal, aren't looking to push up too much yet. They're happy to sit deep and wait for the opportunity to win the ball, as they just did.
Eliseo urges some support, pings the ball across the field. Well, finally a burst of speed from Joaquin. He wasn't too optimistic about keeping that ball in. He's managed to do so, but it is swept up and passed back to Jose Manuel Pinto, who delivers out to Gerard Piqué, starting centre-back this evening alongside Javier Mascherano. And Barcelona play the ball forward. Fabregas has support. Passes to David Villa on the left. Villa makes his way inside. Excellent attempt at a 1-2, but Villa's run, whilst it was timed perfectly, was unable to be found by Xavi. The defence just covering Xavi, such an important part in the middle of the field still, with dictating the play and finding that last man.
Wonderful player, and that was a lovely bit of football from Barcelona, and it came about because Malaga did exactly what we'd been saying they hadn't been doing. They committed men forward with the attack from Joaquin down the right, and when they lost the ball there was a bit more space for Barca to attack, and it nearly resulted in Xavi creating a chance.
David Villa is knocked over. Play will continue. Aiza Gomez says play on. Fabregas tries to dance his way inside, gets the pass back from Iniesta. Fabregas, a shot up for him. Cesc Fabregas scores. 2-0 Barcelona. A classic Barcelona-style goal. Doubles the advantage on 14 minutes. Cesc Fabregas scores for the second time in a week. He grabbed the goal in the Copa Catalunya, and he does so again on the La Liga stage. What a gorgeous piece of close control from Iniesta and Cesc Fabregas.
Very intricate play on the edge of the box to create the chance. Typical Barcelona, and lovely finish from Fabregas as well. That's, I think, 11 league goals for the season now. And I've got to be honest, I don't understand the criticism that he gets from Barcelona fans. I think he is treated unfairly by the Barca fans. They look to leap on any mistake that he makes. They're reluctant to give him praise. Maybe it's because he went away before coming back, but he always seems to have to do more than any other player to impress them. And I don't understand the talk about him possibly leaving. He's far too good a player. Why would you let him go? And although he's not a nailed-on starter when Messi's fit, Fabregas might not be in the best 11, but wonderful control there, good finish. Not sure about the goalkeeping from Caballero, fell over somewhat, but Fabregas is a quality player, and I'd be very surprised if Barca let him go.
Cesc Fabregas in double figures for the La Liga season, picking up his goal-scoring form, and Barcelona on a surge now. 2-0 up, a goal from Fabregas on 40 minutes, a great little move across the face of goal. Andres Iniesta can't put it in. Wellington across to cover. The Malaga captain puts the ball out of play. Malaga really under the cosh now.
Yeah, they're all over the place, and it could be a rout. Let's hope Barcelona continue in this vein, because they've played some lovely attacking football in the final third. We've seen so much of that from Jordi Alba this season, overlapping. He's quickly become an integral part of their attacking play. Could well be a lot more goals in this one.
Corner taken by Xavi. Piqué looks to meet it. Well, it was Julio Bautista. Oh, the follow-up. This really is turning into a rout. Martin Montoya gets the goal to make it 3-0, just a minute on from Cesc Fabregas scoring. Those faces show the true extent of Malaga's pain. Martin Montoya gets on the score sheet from the follow-up from the first corner of this contest.
What a wonderful strike. Montoya, not known for his long-range shooting ability, but he hit that as clean as a whistle. Caballero had no chance whatsoever, and Montoya with a beautiful effort, and as I say, it's going to be a rout. 3 up after 16 minutes. Malaga really desperate for the beach now. Really clean strike on the half volley. Waited for it, watched it, kept his eye on the ball, didn't try to hit it too early. That was the key. He kept his eye on the ball, got his head over the ball as he hit it on the bounce. And yeah, lovely strike from Montoya, who looks a good long-term prospect. Dani Alves, obviously the first choice, normally at right back. Montoya getting increasing game time this season, and he may well be the long-term right back for Barcelona.
Well, Malaga kick off again. Willy Caballero, who hasn't had too much to do but picking the ball out of the back of the net. Malaga 3-0 down, Barcelona on a complete surge. They're looking like vintage Barca to round off this season. Martín Montoya gets his first league goal of the season. An impressive performer since coming in that first Clásico for the injured Dani Alves earlier this season. And these Barcelona players, well, they're either breaking into double figures for goals, or they're opening up their league tally for the season.
Well, more than that, it was Montoya's first ever goal for Barcelona. So first goal of the season, yes, and first goal in Barcelona colours. Don't think he even scored for the B team during his time coming through, but he's yet another of these Barcelona La Masia graduates. Local boy, come through the ranks and now making his mark at first team level.
Well, Martín Montoya, that certainly wasn't the strike of a player who's never scored a goal for his club. An excellent shot from Martín Montoya that makes it 3-0. Here's a chance for Malaga. Can they sneak in? Jordi Alba across to take the ball away from his former teammate at Valencia, Joaquin.
Alba was too quick for him there. It was a 50-50 ball, maybe 60-40 in Alba's favour, but when they both started running, there was no danger. Alba was always going to get there first. He's a road runner, is Alba.
Was with Joaquin. Well, he tries to get past Jordi Alba again, who's shepherding him out, making it so difficult even for a player with the talent of Joaquin. And now Mascherano takes over. Jesus Gámez forward to put on the pressure. Well, Malaga with nothing to lose at the moment. Ball crossed in, looking for Roque Santa Cruz. Gerard Piqué meets it side-footed. Well, with Barcelona so far in front, Gerard Piqué sure to surge forward to try and get a league goal. That's more or less guaranteed.
You would think he'll be keen to attack, yeah. And I'm not making a serious suggestion now, but if Barca scored 10, I think they'd equal Real Madrid's all-time La Liga season scoring record as well. They've got 114 for the season now. Madrid got, it was 121 last season. So not only can they equal the points record, if they keep up at this rate, they might even get close to the scoring record as well.
Well, Malaga with plenty to do in this game. They're coming out of their shells slightly, but Barcelona have just woken up a bit earlier than Malaga, and they've put away their chances, which has been a criticism of them in the absence of Leo Messi, but they've looked fairly clinical so far, as we see a bit of a bloody lip from one of the incidents on the far side. It was Isco who catches a stray elbow.
Yeah, nothing malicious in that, just battling for the ball, and Alba using his arms to balance and hold off the opponent as players do, and he caught Isco, so nothing in that. And I'm sure it's not serious, just a cut on the lip, but Isco, I wonder if he will be here at Barcelona next season. He's certainly good enough, I think. And if Thiago goes, maybe they would look to replace him with a player like Isco. But it does seem Manchester City are in pole position from what we read on that one, that Pellegrini will take Isco with him. Malaga down to 10 at the moment without Isco.
Well, here's a search forward from Martín Montoya. He got the third goal. He had David Villa free. Villa was attempted to be picked up by Fabregas, but just too many bodies in the way. Here's Julio Baptista. He dances his way through the middle. On the run, plays the ball behind Jordi Alba. It's an attempt to cross it in to Joaquin, who is going forward. Cut out by Jordi Alba. It's out for a first Malaga corner of the game.
A great play by Baptista, breaking away from a couple of challenges, danced around Piqué and then managed to outpace Busquets, and still a very, very good player. Julio Baptista maybe in the latter stages of his career. Now he's 31, but really quality player. And another one that we wonder, will he be at Malaga next season? Probably not, I guess.
Joaquin to take the corner from the far side, sends it in towards the near post. It's headed just wide of the back post. I think it was Jeremy Toulalan who met it with the header. Pinto not tested. Well, it was Roque Santa Cruz who was coming in almost unmarked.
Yeah, he was unmarked. He got away from Busquets, was the man closest to him, and a few Barcelona players looking at each other. Javier Mascherano was asking the question, why was he free? And he probably should have done better with that kind of space. It came to him at a nice height. Really, Santa Cruz should have put that one on target.
Roque Santa Cruz still on loan from Manchester City. He's well, not scheduled to go back until a couple of weeks' time. He's been called back up into the Paraguay squad for the World Cup qualifiers for next year, but there will be some negotiations. I can't imagine Pellegrini will have seen too much to impress him about Santa Cruz to want to bring him with him to Manchester City.
No, certainly not. He's an honest player and good header of the ball, apart from on that occasion.
Ball sent in, and Willy Caballero thinks twice and then decides just for a late lunge to push the ball out with his fingertips. An awkward delivery for him from Andres Iniesta.
Yeah, it was a cross from Iniesta, but one of those that if you cross it in towards the far post and nobody gets a touch, it can make life difficult for the goalkeeper, and Caballero did that well. That may well have curled in.
Corner for Football Club Barcelona from the near side. They are 3-0 to the good. We've played just 22 minutes. Xavi with the delivery. Well, he had Jordi Alba setting up his shot. Joaquin got his head on the ball to flick it back, but Barcelona, they just keep on coming. Here's Gerard Piqué. David Villa is pickpocketed by Jeremy Toulalan. And Piqué tries to get it back from Joaquin, who slips over. David Villa tries to get through, tries to play the ball on the ground. The referee had played advantage, but he gives a free kick, which is within shooting territory.
Well, that corner from Barca, so typical of them. They try to play a cross-field 40-yard delivery to set up a volley from the left back on the opposite side of the box. Barca just terrible at corners. I almost think if you're a coach playing against them, give away corners. It's the only time they don't look dangerous.
Well, under Tito Vilanova, they've played more the long corner rather than just playing it short.
They still never score, though.
Here's Xavi on the ball for the free kick. Xavi's delivery in. Piqué was waiting for it. It's bounced awkwardly off Toulalan from the clearance. And Willy Caballero has his wits about him, makes the save. It was Camacho's attempt at a clearance, which ends up in the hands of Willy Caballero. Pass down the left-hand side. Ball with Isco is recovered from that bloody mouth. A collision with another former teammate of his, Jordi Alba. Former teammates at Valencia came up through the youth ranks together before an acrimonious split from Valencia for Isco, and a rather more friendly one from Jordi Alba because Valencia got quite a lot of money for him.
Yeah, although he's proved to be a bargain. I think it was 16 million euros last summer, and that's a great fee for a player of Alba's quality. He's going to be Barca's first choice left back for 5 or 6 years, you would think. And he and Isco, you mentioned them being former teammates. They're current teammates as well, of course, at international level. Be interesting to see how Isco manages to stamp himself on the national team. He only made his debut early this season, looked classy when he came on. It was against Uruguay, and he will be in and around that squad certainly for a number of years, but whether he'll be able to break into the team is a different matter because they've got so many world-class midfielders at their disposal, Spain, haven't they?
Here is Xavi on the ball. A couple of jinking touches allows him to open up the space. David Villa's pass couldn't find Pedro. Julio Baptista tries to give Barcelona a taste of their own medicine, but it proves to be a mistake because Cesc Fabregas is going forward. Fabregas looks for the 1-2. Well, a high hand across the face from Eliseu. Fabregas goes down holding his throat. He was, well, there's a clear case for obstruction there from Eliseu.
Yeah, it was unnecessary because Fabregas wasn't going to get there, but unlike the incident with Alba and Isco a few minutes ago where it was just a tussle for the ball, Eliseu has deliberately obstructed him. But you never see these days indirect free kicks for obstruction. It's either a penalty or free kick maybe right on the edge there or nothing given. It was a classic case of obstruction. He blocked his path, and it should have been an indirect free kick to Barca, but you never get them in the game. They seem to have disappeared from football almost. But Fabregas is going to be okay, which is good for Barca because he started this game very brightly with a goal already, and he'll want to finish the season strongly and leave those fans who doubt him maybe with some some positive thoughts from his final game of the season.
Here's Isco for Malaga in the middle of the park. The pass off to Joaquin, who waits and makes the pass to Isco. They can't find a way to make any inroads. Barcelona with an organised defence. They haven't been able to hit them on the counter either. Barcelona hit on the counter now, though. Here's Pedro going forward. Pedro looks up, plays the pass too long for David Villa. Another opportunity for Barcelona to break.
Yeah, and it was a badly executed pass, so I also thought it was a poor decision from Pedro as well. Villa on the left was reasonably well covered, whereas Pedro had space to run into in front of him. He's got a lot of pace. He could well have taken on the Malaga defence and maybe had a shooting chance himself there. Too unselfish on that occasion.
Here's Martin Montoya. He's already got himself onto the score sheet in this game, which Football Club Barcelona lead by 3-0. And they're really starting to find their form, just as Busquets, who's been very quiet so far, misplaces his pass, but they've been very, very organised in their passing. This really is a Barcelona side that's motivated to put on a show for these fans this evening.
Well, they want the 100 points, as we've said. They want to finish the season strongly. I'm sure it'll be interesting in the second half when Abidal and maybe Valdez come on. That will certainly liven up the atmosphere. And I think without Messi, the Barca players earlier this season did get sick and tired of the criticism that they're a one-man team, that they can't play well without Messi, they can't score without Messi. So there is a sense, whenever he's not there, of them wanting to just to prove a point. We are still a good team. We're not just all about Leo Messi, even though he's got nearly 50 goals again this season. They can still play without him, so that's a motivation for the squad, I'm sure, as every time they play and Messi isn't there.
Sergio Busquets drags it back to Alba. Alba's pass to Villa. The pass is coming thick and fast. Xavi tries to pick one over the top. David Villa pulls it down, but Villa is offside. It looked to be a close one, Matt.
It was close. Wonderful ball as well from Xavi, and it spares David Villa's blushes a little. He was... if he's offside, it's by a hair's width. I think that's on. And it maybe is lucky for Villa because he completely miscontrolled it and Caballero would have picked it up. But wonderful pass from Xavi. That's been said a few times over the years. And Xavi, as you've already said today, Barca will hope he remains a key player for them for a long time to come. It's just how many games his ageing legs are able to play on a season-by-season basis now.
Was with Jeremy Toulalan. Toulalan manages to take it away from Iniesta, who would have had a clean run at goal had he won that ball. Malaga try and go forward. Jesus Games on the ball. With Games on the far side. Pass to Joaquin. Joaquin gets himself out of a tangle. Great move from Joaquin. Looks for 1-2 from Santa Cruz. The momentum is broken down, but Julio Baptista attempts for a finish, but it's wide just on the near side.
Yeah, took a deflection on the way through. I wonder if it was going in from Baptista. Lovely build-up play. Joaquin did well. And then Santa Cruz with good awareness rather than shooting, finding Baptista. I think it was going in until it took that touch into the side netting. So that's Malaga's best moment so far, but they need quite a few more very good moments to have any chance of getting back into this game.
Watch for Baptista in the middle. Ball over the top, and it evades the jump from Jose Manuel Pinto. He didn't look to have checked that jump.
Mistimed it seemed. Thought that he was going to be able to claim it, and then the ball just got away from him. Maybe had more pace on it than he thought, and a little fortunate that there was no Malaga player running in behind him at the far post.
Here's Xavi, Barcelona to build things out of the back slowly. It looks as if Isco's gone over to that right-hand side just to help out.
Yeah, I wonder if he swapped with Joaquin. They do that occasionally. See Joaquin now on the left-hand side. Their starting positions are the other way round, but they do occasionally play that inverted winger role, allowing them to cut in field and try to shoot. And Isco maybe will look to do that now.
Opportunity for Malaga. They've attacked frequently down the right-hand side, not too much down the left wing. Perhaps Isco can provide a bit of spark there. They've got a throw in.
Well, it was a poor pass from Isco. He had options inside. Games on the overlap, but he misplaced it, mistimed it, and broke down the attack, really. A shame from Malaga's point of view.
Ball flicked on, a melee in the area. Pulled down by Roque Santa Cruz, but not very well controlled at all by him. A bit too nonchalant from a Paraguayan. As Malaga try and link the passes together. Well, swung in looking for Julio Baptista, but that's easy pickings for Gerard Piqué. And Barcelona look to turn defence into attack. Jordi Alba. Busquets. Well, they get the triangles together to an ovation from the fans. And now a chance to spread the legs for Pedro and David Villa going forward.
Brilliant play by Busquets there in that little passage. I think he touched the ball 4 times in about 5 seconds. All of them accurate, precise, fast. That's the great attribute of his play that often gets overlooked, I think, is the accuracy of his passing under pressure. When the ball comes to him, he's able to have the vision and also the technique to immediately find the pass to his teammate in space. Not many players are able to do that. Not always conventional, or sometimes prodded away with his knee or with a toe poke, but his vision and calmness and ability under pressure is pretty much unrivaled in the central midfielder, I'd say.
Willy Caballero lofts that clearance over the top. It's a battle for the ball in the middle. Julio Baptista, good sneak in. Martin Montoya does very well indeed. A cool, calm collection in the face of Julio Baptista, who you wouldn't want him bearing down on you when you've got just yourself and the goalkeeper between you and the goal.
I don't think I'd be cool, calm or collected if Julio Baptista was charging in at me, no.
Well, flicked up, great move by Cesc Fabregas. It's just going to be robbed away by Jesus Gomez. There's a battle for the ball involving Jordi Alba, who manages to just resume this Barcelona possession, courtesy of using David Villa like a wall in schoolyard football.
Yeah, great one-touch passing, and Alba getting forward again. We've seen it from him a few times today, and it's an aspect of Barcelona's play that I don't think you would see with any other team, that the fullback will often be the furthest player forward, especially when Alves is playing. Obviously, he's so attacking, and with Messi in the false 9 role, normally Fabregas filling it today, they often don't have a central striker. It'll be the fullbacks who carry the attack forward and then look for people to join in. It's a very unusual way of playing, and obviously it's got Barcelona a lot of criticism this season, the tiki-taka style. Will it still be effective? Have teams worked it out? With Bayern thrashing them obviously 7-0 in the Champions League, but I don't think Barca will change it. They believe in their system. I don't think we'll see a change in Messi's role. I don't think we'll see them play with a conventional front 9. I think they'll continue to play with their tried and trusted method, and it has brought them so much success, so why not?
Well, Joaquin back on a defensive duty, takes the ball away from Pedro, who'd gone forward. Here is Joaquin. He's moved over onto that left-hand side, has been unable to do much attacking, though, from that left wing. Malaga unable to do much attacking at all so far, as we reach 34 minutes into this game. Barcelona comfortably in front by 3-0. Goals from David Villa, Cesc Fabregas and Martin Montoya before 20 minutes were even out. And this is not Barcelona on maintenance mode, but they seem well aware that they've got this game more or less in the bag. Yeah,
absolutely. It will take a miracle now for Malaga to come back, and just hope, from our point of view, for the neutral, that it continues to be an attack-minded performance from Barcelona. Tito Vilanova, the coach, is very demanding. He doesn't want his team to sit back when they're in games like this, leading so comfortably. I remember a game earlier in the season, I think it was when they beat Atletico Madrid here, that he praised them after the game for one thing only, and that was that they continued to try to score right until the end, even though they were winning heavily. He wants them always to keep pushing, keep pushing. Last game of the season, that's not as easy.
David Villa comes in, makes a pass to Cesc Fabregas. Fabregas is going to try and pull it back across the face of goal. It is headed out of play. Barcelona, they can break so quickly out of almost nothing. The header out from Wellington, saving their blushes.
Yeah, suspicion of offside as Villa found Fabregas on the left, but flag stayed down, and it did need that good intervention, as you say, from Wellington, who's captaining Malaga today.
Ball's with Pedro, now to Iniesta. Iniesta didn't feel like a shot, had the option available to him. Ball just too long for Fabregas. Barcelona have misplaced a few passes tonight, but Malaga have been unable to close them down in time to really take advantage.
No, and Barcelona have defended well. Piqué has been commanding. It wasn't offside. Good decision by the linesman. You see again Fabregas looking to pick out Villa in the middle, but Wellington stood in a good position, closed down the space at the near post, wasn't drawn to the man.
Opportunity again for Barcelona. It just a base of a foot of Cesc Fabregas. It was just about level with the penalty spot.
Yeah, better pass from Pedro and he would have been in. He just hit it a yard to his right rather than into his feet. And if it had been a more accurate delivery from Pedro, Fabregas would have been able to take one touch to control and then look to shoot.
Caballero puts the ball over to the far side. It's headed down to Joaquin, and again a collision which involves a hand across the throat. Sergio Busquets is going to get back up to his feet. Joaquin makes the pass off. A few whistles and jeers ring out around the Camp Nou. Joaquin waits in space. He's going to take on Gerard Piqué. He pulls it back for Baptista, but a stabbing clearance from Martin Montoya means that Barcelona can break away.
Yeah, Barca got a little bit lucky there because Montoya was left with two players to deal with.
A run through from Pedro. Pedro takes that on the backside as he surged forward from out of vision. Was picked up superbly.
Seemed to be caught in two minds, wasn't he? Whether to try to control it and continue his run, or whether to hold it up and look to link play. And as a result, he stumbled and the ball rather fell into him.
Chipped forward, looking for Roque Santa Cruz. Too many Barcelona shirts around him. And Barcelona will just soak that up and look to push forward themselves. Malaga committing a few more players forward. And that may well leave them vulnerable in the midfield, where Barcelona are just passing the ball around at will now.
Yeah, very, very comfortable indeed for them now. And I think we maybe in the second half be good to see some substitutions to shake the game up. Maybe Thiago for Barcelona, maybe Teo, his pace down the wing. Obviously we'll have Abidal at some point as well.
Was with Xavi. Xavi looks up to assess his options. The best one available, Andres Iniesta. Iniesta has Villa to the left. Passes to Villa. Villa being double teamed, but manages to thread that ball through to Jordi Alba, who tries to pull it back across the face of goal. And that shake of the head just shows the amount of support they're getting in the Malaga defence. Barcelona, even at a slow, languid pace, able to explode in the final third.
And again, said it before, it was Jordi Alba, the furthest player forward. He's got such terrific energy to get up and down that left wing, and looking to create a goal-scoring chance there.
Barcelona corner taken by Xavi, looking for Gerard Piqué, who got contact with the ball. It didn't look to be clean contact, and no. Piqué heads it well wide.
He mistimed it. He should have scored. He got away from his marker. Wellington's left him alone. Ball perfectly into his path, and he really should have scored, or at least forced a good save out of Willy Caballero. Just a really poor header from Piqué in the end. And again, Barca no good from corners. Puyol would have scored from there, but he's the only one who can from corners.
Well, Piqué, he'd left two markers. He'd left Wellington and Lugano in his wake. Had Willy Caballero stranded in the centre of goal, and he puts it wide. Barcelona with an opportunity to make it 4-0 before the half-time whistle. We have 5 minutes to go until the half-time break. And if you were Manuel Pellegrini giving your last team talk to Malaga, what would you be saying now?
Just try to find some energy. It's bound to be difficult for those Malaga players to have any motivation. They've had so much to go through. We've already spoken about this in the game. They're just flat and they're lacking energy. And when you're trailing away against the champions with 45 minutes of your season left, and you know there's going to be a lot of changes in the summer, it's going to be really hard for them to lift themselves. But they've just got to think, right, this is it, last big effort. We've had a really hard season. Let's try and finish on some kind of a high. Who knows what the future will hold. I don't think there's anything tactically you can particularly do different. But it's just try to find some energy and some motivation for these players to at least finish the season well, and then they can go and enjoy their holidays as much as they can, not knowing what lies in wait for many of them.
Ball intercepted in the final third for Malaga. Joaquin dribbles it back almost into his own half. He makes the pass back to Lugano, the defender. Malaga unable to capitalise on winning the ball back. Going to be a slow build-up from Willy Caballero. A ball knocked forward, nobody waiting forward for Malaga. And Jose Manuel Pinto gets a rare touch. Has not been troubled really in this game.
No, there was the one shot deflected wide by Baptista, but no saves that he's had to make of note. One change maybe that Pellegrini could look to make is replacing Santa Cruz with Saviola, because Malaga haven't had any luck with the long balls at all. The more dangerous attacks they have mustered have been when they've built play along the ground, and Saviola would give you a better option with that kind of attack than Santa Cruz. So maybe that will be something we'll see in the second half. Saviola coming on.
Was with Lugano for Malaga. Pass the ball over to Jesus Gomez. Possession, as you'd expect, in Barcelona's favour, 61-39. It's Malaga who are on the ball at the moment, but as soon as we say that, Barcelona win the ball back, and of course they have that pairing up front. Oh, David Villa looking to play in Cesc Fabregas off his heel.
Yeah, clever idea, just trying to flick the ball on to Fabregas with a half touch. But it was very good play to win the ball back from Mascherano initially, and he's diving in again there.
Joaquin, well, Mascherano's got him covered. He hasn't quite got Joaquin's number, but the combination of he and Busquets mean that Joaquin has to wait for support. And indeed, he gives the throw-in off to Jesus Gomez.
He must be horrible to play against Mascherano, because he's so quick to close you down and make the challenge, and just gives the opposition player no time on the ball.
Ball headed back to Jose Manuel Pinto, who's had the most touches off headers from his teammates in the final third. It was a mistake on the byline, but was well swept up by the Barcelona defence. A run around again, obstruction could be claimed against Eliseo. Baptista's on the ball. Baptista, the victim of a sliding challenge from Gerard Piqué, who wins the ball cleanly and tangles with Eliseo.
Well, it looked like a foul to me on Piqué by Eliseo, and I think he certainly thinks it was by that expression, but not given. Looked like Eliseo just pulled him to the ground here, got hold of his shoulder. Yeah, looks like a free kick to me, but it's not, so corner for Malaga.
Malaga corner on the near side again. They try and put it into the danger zone again. Gerard Piqué is the man on hand to get the clearance, and Barcelona will break. Look at the run from Pedro. He's off Jeremy Toulalan, the last man. David Villa tries to keep the momentum going. He slows things down to groans of disdain from the Barcelona fans. The attack is still on, though. Jordi Alba to Xavi. Is with Montoya on the near side. Barcelona players wait in the middle. The ball goes out for a corner off the back of Eliseo.
I think they're keen to score again, aren't they, Barca? When Montoya had the ball there were 5 Barca players in the middle of the box waiting for the cross, and another 2 on the edge. So there were 8 men attacking. But Villa held onto the ball for too long. When the break came, Pedro was making a run. He should have released it to him, and it slowed down the pace of the attack.
Xavi plays the short corner. He plays it out to Martin Montoya. Xavi looks up. If anyone can deliver a ball in, it's going to be him. Well, Pedro is going to try from the far side. Cuts back, being hounded by Toulalan. Goes across with Jordi Alba. Plays it through. Pedro will look ahead and he takes it on the chest. Pedro was always running away from goal, but he sends it in looking for Piqué. Piqué gets a couple of headers on the ball. Was being pulled back by Eliseo, and Willy Caballero claims.
Just always needed one touch too much, didn't they? As Pedro came through it, just got away from him. He's definitely thought about the first time strike here, but realised the angle was against him, and then Gerard Piqué was trying to play head tennis into the net. It wouldn't come down for him. Too many bodies around him in the end, and no push for me. That's all part and parcel of aerial play in the penalty area. As we go into stoppage time of the first half that Barcelona have obviously dominated.
Well, we come to the end of this 45 minutes. Barcelona in front, courtesy of goals from David Villa, Cesc Fabregas and Martin Montoya. Malaga on the ropes. Barcelona with a splendid showing for the first half of their final La Liga game of 2012-2013. They head down the tunnel. The second half will see substitutions and doubtless more goals. Join us for that after this quick break.
Goodbye to at least, obviously, Eric Abidal. We'll see if he gets to make an appearance in the second half here. His team are currently 3 goals to the good against Malaga. Fantastic first half display from Barca in their final match of the season. Of course, they are going for records here. And the scoring got underway very early on. Iniesta with a fabulous pass through. And then on the 3-minute mark, David Villa there, ready to pounce on wonderful setup play from Pedro's run. It's Villa's 48th goal in all competitions. Perhaps it could be his last. We'll see, of course, if he remains at the club in the summer, and of course if he can do more damage in the second half here. But a great start for Barca nonetheless against Malaga. And then more intricate play. And Cesc Fabregas finding number 2, his 11th of the league season. Fabulous football again from Barca. Of course, Neymar is to be in on the act next season. We'll see where he fits in amongst this beautiful Barca play. His presentation, incidentally, is something you'll be able to see with us here on beIN Sport on Monday. At noon, he is going to be unveiled to his new adoring fans. Well, they had more to celebrate on 16 minutes. Fantastic strike from Martin Montoya. That's his first league goal. Second for the club, following up a strike in last year's Champions League. So Barcelona not only on track for their 100-point record, of course, that Real Madrid managed last year, looking for a club record 32 wins in the campaign with the 3 points on offer here, and they're also on track to their biggest ever winning margin in a league triumph. 15 points would be 3 better than they managed in 2006 under Frank Rijkaard. Let's rejoin your commentators Duncan Bishop and Andy West.
Well, the change will be made up front. Roque Santa Cruz has been changed. Roque Santa Cruz, who didn't make any impact at all in the first half, it must be said.
No, not his kind of game, though. Malaga didn't really have the chance to get the ball into the box, which is what he likes, to attack that. And just see how that changes things. Morales will probably go into midfield, and maybe Baptista will be pushed further up front. That seems to be what it is. Morales going on to the right, with Joaquin going more central as well. So maybe a slight change in shape as well. We'll have to see how that develops.
Well, Morales, one of 3 players, him, Iturra and Antunes, who are all waiting on the club for a renewal of their contracts for the next season. They're some players who are likely to be staying at the club if their contracts can be sorted out. We're underway in the second half. Barcelona on the ball. They're in the red and blue, and they're going from right to left. Malaga in that light sky blue and white strip going the other way. And they're in possession now. And Barcelona pushing up very high. They're really eager for more goals. They've got nothing to lose. Those 100 points seem to be pretty much in the bag at the moment.
They're in the bag, yeah. It's just a case of how many they can win by, and let's hope they can maintain their intensity to the end. That helps against that they're coming up against a team who are less than fully motivated. But hope we have more chances in the second half, because it could fizzle out otherwise. But interesting, you mentioned Morales and the other Malaga players who are still waiting to hear about their contract. It's such a mess at Malaga at the moment financially, with the owner Sheikh Al Thani pulling his money out. They don't know what their budgets are going to be. Imagine being in charge of Malaga's accounts and working out how much you're going to be able to spend on players. And they're waiting, of course, for this Europa League decision, whether they're going to be in next season's Europa League. They've been banned from UEFA for a year. They've appealed to the Court of Arbitration for Sport. And that's
long ball forward for Pedro Rodriguez, who holds it up looking for support. Pedro pulls it back, it's in the D, and it's in the area. Fabregas, hint of offside about that, but play will continue, and it's a scuffed clearance in the end. Barcelona again catching on the break. They've done so well from that crossfield ball over and from playing off the last man.
Good ball up to Pedro, whose pace really can stretch the opposing defence, and you said a hint of offside. It looked offside to me, but didn't matter in the end because the chance didn't come.
Here is Andres Iniesta on the ball, combining with Jordi Alba. Now Fabregas, the pass and run from him. Back with Iniesta. Alba waiting on the left. First time cross from him, and the sliding challenge from Wellington. manages to put the ball out of play and out of the path of David Villa and Fabregas, who are in the middle.
Yet again, Jordi Alba, said it many times, getting forward so well. He deserves an assist today from the way that he's attacked. And he'll keep going right to the end as well. That's something you know with him. He never stops running.
Ball is with Jordi Alba. Well, Andres Iniesta collides with Fabregas. An opportunity for Barcelona, and there's a pushover.
Yeah, offside. Offside against Pedro. But yeah, the referee, Malaga's best defender there, getting in Iniesta's way.
Well, taking a leaf out of Eliseo's book from the first half, colliding and obstructing with a Barcelona player. Fabregas a little bit too close to the action. Well, he's close enough there to see that Sergio Busquets had committed a handball.
And here's the referee in the way. And then Pedro is offside as the ball goes through. But with that handball against Busquets, I'm pleased he didn't book him. It clearly was a handball. But so often in La Liga, more than any other leagues, it seems, the referees book players for that. It is inconsistent, though, because not all of them do. And I just think offences like that, it's not a yellow card. It's a handball, but it hit him. He couldn't really have got his hand out of the way. And there have been 4 or 5 occasions this season where players have actually been sent off for their second yellow card for that kind of handball, which I think is far too harsh. And I think that's something that the La Liga authorities should address during the summer. Find a more consistent way of dealing with handballs next season.
Well, with Football Club Barcelona again, Pedro trying to run off the last man. He and David Villa have really got to rocket up them today. Perhaps spurred on by the imminent arrival of Neymar from Brazil.
Well, and that arrival will surely mean the end of David Villa at Barcelona. Can't imagine him still being there next season. He plays the position that you would think it's most likely Neymar will fill on the left of the front three. Neymar, being the high-profile signing he is, he's going to come straight into the team. Villa will have to make way, you'd think, and he won't accept being a stopgap player, a substitute, occasionally starting in lesser-profile games. I think he'll be on his way.
Jordi Alba on the left. Jordi Alba just got a pace offside as he waited for the pass from Andres Iniesta. He looks over to doubt it.
Yeah, maybe just offside. Linesman had a good view and the flag was up, but again the point with Jordi Alba trying to get through and saying he might get an assist, he may well get a goal the way he's attacking down the left. And I think they found a good balance today, Barcelona, because Montoya hasn't attacked as much, and sometimes when Alves plays, both he and Alba both get forward and that leaves them a little short at the back, but Montoya has given them better balance.
Was with Julio Baptista. A turn from Malaga, perhaps an opportunity for them. Here is Julio Baptista. Baptista's save from Pinto, and the ball can't be bundled home. PK on hand to make the clearance. He takes it out almost off the line. Pinto with his first save of the game. Great opportunity for Malaga, and they can't put it away.
Wonderful pass from Isco. When we see the replay, look out for the pass. It's gone down the other end and Barca might have one.
Here is Andres Iniesta. Iniesta, a curling effort. A fantastic goal from Andres Iniesta. So devastating on the break, Football Club Barcelona. A rare goal for Andres Iniesta. A curling effort that brings out the appreciation of Victor Valdés. A spectacular finish just after Barcelona had been on the receiving end of an attack.
Well, maybe we won't see the replay of Isco's pass for the chance for Malaga, because Iniesta, the old Isco, if you like, if Isco's the new Iniesta, then Iniesta showing he's still the master. Brilliant finish. As you said, a rare score. I think that's only his 3rd league goal of the season, is it? Very surprised it's not more. But that's what Iniesta and Barca can do if you give them space. Because Malaga committed men forward, it opened up space in the midfield, and Iniesta exploited it wonderfully.
Excellent finish from Andres Iniesta, which makes it 4-0. But here's an opportunity for Malaga again. They can't put it past Pinto. It was Morales who got forward. On as a substitute for the second half. He's denied by Jose Manuel Pinto.
Yeah, and chances continuing to flow, which is nice at both ends, as the Barca fans shout in appreciation of Pinto. A couple of good saves from him there to keep the clean sheet, which is always priority for a goalkeeper, isn't it? You're never happy or a defender if you come off winning 4-1. You want the 4-0. You want that clean sheet bonus.
Well, in the last few games against Malaga, they've always conceded just for 1 goal. Football Club Barcelona. They've kept the score at 0 so far for the visiting team, but we've seen glimpses of Malaga's attacking potency, although Barcelona have gone straight down the other end and made it 4-0. Great play from Andres Iniesta. Well, all these Barcelona players now, they just want to fill their boots with goals. Irregular scorers and first-time goal scorers coming to the fore in this game.
Yeah, and let's hope that the open pattern of the game, the second half so far, continues for the next 35 minutes or so.
They're going to bring on Thiago at Football Club Barcelona. I'd imagine that would be so that Xavi Hernandez can get a round of applause after another successful season. The player with the most La Liga titles, the player with the most honours in Spain, Xavi Hernandez. And he'll get, no doubt, a rapturous applause from the Barcelona faithful. Here's Joaquin on the near side. Joaquin pulls it into the D. An opportunity again for Isco, who puts it just right. Pinto almost got a fingertip to it.
Yeah, Isco and Joaquin combining as they have so often for Malaga this season. So sad for Malaga fans that they won't be seeing this combination anymore. Those two players, such creative, attacking players, and Isco close to a wonderful goal.
Well, it will be Andres Iniesta who makes way for Thiago. Fans up on their feet for a round of applause for Andres Iniesta. Thiago comes on to almost an equally rapturous ovation. I think the Barcelona fans have read about his possible departure at the end of the season and want to make sure that he feels truly loved.
Yeah, they're making it clear to him that they want him to stay. And it's interesting that he's come on for Iniesta, because as you said, the natural assumption would be that he'd come on for Xavi, and that's maybe something that has gone against him, in that he's not really bedded down a position to replace one of the two of them. It's either, is he going to replace Iniesta or is he going to be Xavi? He can play in both positions. I think that maybe in the long term, Xavi is a deeper player, someone who controls the tempo of the game and gets lots of touches, passes the ball on short. I think that Thiago maybe would be best suited for that, but he can do the Iniesta role as well, and maybe that's gone against him. When you have players who are versatile, it means they don't get a chance in one position to really get an extended run in the team.
A rare misplaced pass from Sergio Busquets under no pressure at all, puts the ball out for a Malaga throw-in. Just one substitute made apiece for both sides. Morales has come on for Malaga, and Thiago is on for Football Club Barcelona. Piqué again sweeps up. Thiago gets his first touches off the ball, loses out in that battle. Here's Joaquin. Has an option of Jesus Gomez on the near side. He uses it. Gomez plays it in towards the near post. He's hit on the volley. A spectacular strike from the new boy, Morales. Well, a player who's looking for a renewed contract certainly puts himself in the spotlight. What a fantastic finish from him on the volley. The cross in from Jesus Gomez. Malaga, well, they've done it again. They've made sure that Barcelona can't keep a clean sheet against them.
Yeah, lovely goal. Good vision from Gomez to see the run of Morales. He was pointing, put it there for me. He did exactly that, and then a great finish. And as you say, he's done his chances of getting a new contract at Malaga no harm. And if he doesn't, he's put himself in the shop window elsewhere as well, because he's done very well in the last few months at Malaga. It's by no means the first goal he's scored. So whether he stays at Malaga or not, it looks like he'll get himself a good club somewhere, Morales. And that was a really good finish.
Football Club Barcelona 4, Malaga 1, 56 minutes played. A goal fest just like we expected. Morales' goal on 56 minutes, meaning that Malaga don't go home empty-handed in terms of goals. Well, Barcelona, we shall see their response. They'll no doubt push for further goals as this game begins to open up yet further. Yeah. Here is Nacho Camacho. Passing almost puts Julio Baptista in, but Piqué makes the clearance.
And Morales, just talking about him, he's only making his 7th appearance of the season for Malaga today. Chilean, like his manager, Pellegrini, and that's already his third goal from midfield.
Ball flicked on for Joaquin. Joaquin bombing down the right-hand side, but out of nowhere appears Javier Mascherano. A sliding challenge from him to put the ball out of play for a corner, which it looks like Malaga are going to play short.
That's tigerish play by Mascherano, as we talked about. Very wholehearted player, and he really made a home for himself at centre-back. Never plays in midfield for Barcelona now. He does for his national team, but he's a central defender for Barca now.
Delivery is going to be made by the goal scorer, Morales. Was into the near post. PK once again on hand. Morales will have a second bite at it, puts it over onto the back post, looking for Wellington. Mascherano wins out the header against a taller player. Malaga just try and retain possession with Barcelona coming forward. They have to pass it all the way back to Willy Caballero.
There's a couple of good deliveries from Morales. The initial corner into the near post took a touch and then bounced off PK. I don't think he knew too much about it, could have gone anywhere. And then the cross towards the far post for Wellington, showing good variety of delivery from Morales.
Well, Gerard Piqué, who's had a very good game, one of his best of the season so far. He's made a couple of timely interceptions, whether he's known about them or not. Here Malaga go forward, they look for a 1-2 between Eliseo and Julio Baptista. But it goes into the path of Martin Montoya, and he makes the clearance.
Well, Malaga have come out refreshingly attacking-minded in the second half. They've not slumped too much back and been too despondent about the big deficit. They are trying to play constructive attacking football. Maybe they're taking the mentality we spoke before half-time of how they would approach the second half, of come on, let's just play, let's try and enjoy it, try to create some chances and score some goals. The game's gone, our season really is effectively over. Let's just try and enjoy it for the last half hour, and they're playing well at the moment.
Here is Xavi on the ball. Well, Baptista has gone into that lone striker role, and he's been allowed to be brought into the game. I think Games has almost got more involved than some of the Malaga players. He performs the step over there. Ball over on the far side. They're into Xavi. Xavi looks up for the pass, but run is on for David Villa. Not picked out by Xavi. Morales makes the interception. A nice couple of touches from him. Joaquin tries for a run around. He won't beat Jordi Alba for pace. Very few in La Liga would.
No, he certainly won't, and Joaquin won't anymore. In his 30s now, he maybe would have given him a better race in his earlier years, but Alba's so quick, and that is something that allows him to be so attacking. He can recover better than most fullbacks would be able to.
Pass to Xavi. Xavi tries the through ball. It takes a deflection off Lugano, which puts it out of the path of David Villa, and we see Eric Abidal warming up for what will likely be his final appearance for Barcelona if he comes on.
I'm sure he will come on. Tito Vilanova yesterday said that Abidal will get some minutes, and maybe it's going to be about 25 minutes. Malaga give it away.
Opportunity, Pedro to Fabregas, who chips it up for Pedro, who tries to hit it on the volley, trying to replicate the move of Pedro Morales. Well, Pedro Rodriguez instead puts the ball over the top.
And he should have squared it. Look at Xavi coming in here. Onside, lovely ball from Fabregas, and if he just rolled it across goal, Xavi would have had a tap in, and that's very difficult finish that he's attempting on the half volley, but not purely on the half volley. He didn't catch it on the bounce. It was already a foot off the floor. Very difficult. Square ball would have been the best option.
Oh, Pedro Rodriguez lifts the ball up too much, and danger for Malaga. There's a shove over from Cesc Fabregas on Eliseo that doesn't go unnoticed by the referee.
So we're going to get Abidal on soon, as we were just saying before that chance, and that was widely anticipated. The big surprise that we touched on in the first half was Valdez not playing. Wonder what that says. Wonder why Vilanova has made that decision. And if he doesn't come on as a substitute either, it'll be very raise some eyebrows certainly amongst Barca fans.
Julio Baptista keeps the ball in play, but that only allows him to put it into the path of Javier Mascherano. Baptista have been fighting in the box. He'd shaken off one of the Barcelona players. He tries to win the ball back now from Mascherano. But Barcelona, cool as you like, play it out of the defence. It's with Xavi Hernandez, and now with Thiago. Thiago to Jordi Alba. Thiago, a slip up from him. He's pulled back by Isco. Barcelona retain possession. Xavi looked to be eyeing up one of those Hollywood balls. And a through ball is played. David Villa will latch onto the end of it. He tries to round Willy Caballero. He can't keep the ball in play. Well, the referee judges that he did. It looked as if it had just rolled out, but David Villa allows the opportunity to get away from him.
Yeah, just kept it in on the line, but before that was the chance when his touch was a little heavy, and then he really should have tried to cut it back in onto his left foot, but he wanted to keep on using his right. A lovely ball through, though, into his run. And I wonder if David Villa 4 or 5 years ago would have scored that one. Are his standards slipping somewhat? Is that why Barca are going to be happy to let him go this summer?
We'll put back to Isco. Isco plays it to the feet of Joaquin. It's taken on by Pedro Morales, who couldn't quite get the finish. Had Pinto beaten at the far post.
He's had quite a 20 minutes, hasn't he, since coming on at half-time. Scored one, very nearly another here, and as I say, he's making a name for himself at Malaga. He's got not much of a career background. He's played in Chile with Universidad, played for Dinamo Zagreb for a number of seasons, but he's certainly not been at the forefront of the major leagues. But the way he's played in this last half season for Malaga since he joined them, he may well get himself a good club in the summer if he doesn't get a new contract at Malaga.
Xavi on the ball, makes for pass to Thiago. Thiago has plenty of space. He finds the pass to Jordi Alba. Jordi Alba just squares up, and Morales, back on defensive duty, manages to knock the ball out of play and allow Malaga the chance to regroup.
You wouldn't want to be a right midfielder playing against Jordi Alba. You're going to have to make a lot of runs back towards your own goal, because the energy that he has, he'll keep going up and down, and maybe that's why he came on at half-time for Joaquin.
Opportunity for Martin Montoya. Jesus Gomez makes the clearance. Malaga try and take it out and win something on the break. Barcelona doing a good job of just stalling them and pegging them back and forcing them to concede possession.
Yeah, it opened up very nicely for Montoya down the right for Barcelona there, and he couldn't pick out the pass as Villanova not relaxing. 25 minutes of the season left. They guaranteed the 100 points now. They've won the league a few weeks ago, but he's still up there barking his orders. He is very demanding. He's quite a relaxed personality, certainly much more so than Pep Guardiola, who he succeeded, of course, but he is very demanding of his players, has very high standards for them and won't allow them to relax in games.
Offside called erroneously against Julio Baptista, who was being played on by Gerard Piqué. Barcelona have the ball with 25 minutes left of their season. We've reached the 65-minute mark. This is usually when Tito Vilanova starts looking around for substitutions. We may very well see Eric Abidal engaging in a more vigorous warm-up in anticipation of his arrival to play out the last minutes of this game. Here's David Villa on the left. Villa moves inside, fakes the shot, and Fabregas was just being pegged back by Wellington.
And I wonder if David Villa will make way as well, so that he can receive the standing ovation from the home fans on what's probably going to be his last game for Barcelona.
Will centre into the middle. Well dealt with, though, by Football Club Barcelona. Here is David Villa. Thiago waits for the support, but keeps the ball rolling forward. Fabregas throws his hands up in the air. He wanted the delivery from Thiago. He was in a golden opportunity position. And it's all slowed down a bit for Barcelona. David Villa has it in the area, though. Almost at a standstill. Couldn't find the player at the back post. Montoya keeps it in play. Pedro in support. Fabregas waiting outside the box. Baptista with the challenge.
Good defensive discipline from Baptista, wasn't it? Not normally known for that kind of thing, making a last-ditch tackle in his own box, but he's done well.
Here's Joaquin. Joaquin tries to run past Javier Mascherano. He realises that wasn't on and decides to pull back. Mascherano pickpockets him, but he does so against the rules of the game.
Well, the referee thought so. I'm not sure it was. He won the ball there, and typical tenacious play. I suppose he had a hand on the back of Joaquin, but good defending for me. Won the ball.
Games plays it down the near side. Barcelona win it back. A turn from David Villa, and that was a foul from Morales.
Yeah, and the graphic just came up. 8 fouls in the game, 9 now. Shows you the tempo and intensity, or lack of those two things, that have been in this game. It's had that very open end of season feel. Need a team with anything to play for. Malaga need a point to secure 6th place, I think, don't they? They could get overtaken by Betis tonight, but to be honest, it doesn't really matter, because they're out of Europe at the moment anyway, and it would just mean that they enter the Europa League at an earlier stage if they finish in 7th rather than 6th, if the appeal is overturned. But it's all a bit messy, the way I don't like the way that the season is ending in Spain, and it's UEFA really responsible for that. That when the season finishes tonight, we don't know who's going to be in the UEFA places. It's probably going to be Betis. Well, they're definitely in, but Sevilla maybe, but then Rayo Vallecano are also appealing. So we're not going to know until at least a week after the end of the season who's actually going to be playing in the Europa League for Spain next season.
Here is Xavi on the ball. Barcelona just linking those passes together. They've got it down to a fine art in this game. The end of a season of familiarity between all the players, including the new arrivals who've slotted in so well. What with Sergio Busquets. And a pass forward for Jordi Alba on the left-hand side. Jordi Alba, one of those new arrivals. He puts the ball in. Oh, it's just onto the top netting, having taken a big deflection off Lugano as he slid in to take it away from his man.
Yeah, I didn't think the assist that I was talking about with Alba would be an own goal, but very nearly there. Another of his crosses into the penalty area, and he's certainly strengthened Barcelona in that left-back spot. With Abidal being in and out of the team, obviously, over the last 2 or 3 years, they needed a regular starter on that left-hand side, and he's provided it.
Corner over to the back post. Willy Caballero flaps at it. Caught out in no man's land as his defender Lugano headed away. Pass through. Pedro was onside. He gets the ball back from Gerard Piqué. Pedro curls it wide of the post.
And you know there's a rueful look from Piqué. Give it back to me. He wanted the return pass. He wanted to be able to have a shot on goal. But Pedro, always likely to take a shot in that position. Look at Piqué, wanted it into his feet. Would have been a chance if Pedro had rolled it to him. But he wanted to take on the shot. Here's the second change for Malaga.
Well, Joaquin is the player coming off. Perhaps his last run out for Malaga. One of the first big money signings for the club. A local lad, and he comes off to be replaced by Sebastian Fernandez, the Argentine.
And if he does go, he'll be a miss, not just from Malaga, but from Spanish football. He's a very, very talented player. He's given La Liga some wonderful moments over the years with Valencia, and then this really quite unlikely rejuvenation that his career's enjoyed at Malaga. And Fiorentina's a good team for him to join in Serie A if he is going there. Shame to see him leave Spain, though.
Well, Joaquin, one of Spanish football's great characters, one of Spanish football's great jokers as well. I think there can't be many opposition players who don't like Joaquin. He's so popular around the grounds. If he is on his way to Italy, it will be a sorely missed player, Joaquin Sanchez, but he's taken off to be replaced by Sebastian Fernandez. He, alongside Isco and Baptista, and Morales, are going to be the midfield trio, looking to provide Julio Baptista with some quality delivery for the remaining 20 minutes or so of this game.
And the new man on, Fernandez, has been at Malaga for 3 seasons now. Uruguayan, joined them from Banfield in Argentina, in and out of the team throughout that 3 years, though. He's probably, in honesty, the kind of player that will stay at Malaga next season and maybe get more games as well, because they're going to lose so many this summer.
Well, they made a sale in the winter transfer window. They got rid of Diego Buonanotte, who's another one of those players who was not eating up too much of a wage bill and would have perhaps added a bit of quality for next season.
Yeah, because it seems every time we talk about a Malaga player in this game, we're saying we don't know if he'll still be there next season. There aren't many who you would definitely say, yeah, he'll be a regular for Malaga next season. And you know, maybe too negative here, but the way that you could imagine their summer unfolding in next season, they've got to be early season relegation candidates for next year, having had such a great couple of years, of course. And it's just such a shame that their story is unfolding in this way now.
Well, Malaga, if Betis do manage to win, they'll have to get their squad together earlier than expected if they are in the Europa League places. We get forward with headers. Games, a sliding challenge from, of course, that renowned defender, David Villa, back covering even at this late stage in the game and of the season.
Good to see. His last game, probably, for Barcelona. Linked with all sorts of Premier League clubs for a summer move, but he's still, as you say, putting in the effort, tracking back to concede the corner.
Pedro Morales sends it into the near post once again, looking for the near post opportunity. Once again, Barcelona make the header out. Games is crossing, and it's headed over. It was Camacho.
Lovely ball in again. Games created the goal earlier for Malaga, and a similar kind of delivery this time, flicked in with little backlift, but still managing to get good velocity on it.
Barcelona to bring the ball out. Well, there's a round of applause going up. I'd assume that would mean Eric Abidal is up and warming up.
You'd think so. It's a bit longer than I'd expected, to be honest. I thought he'd be on by now. Less than 20 minutes to play, but Tito Villanova reserving him for now. But yeah, it can't be long before Abidal does come on.
Javier Mascherano. Pass onto the left-hand side. Sorry, the right-hand side. As Malaga try and go forward. Gerard Piqué brings it up. Piqué is on a run of his own. Piqué will continue going forward. He wants that late goal. Piqué is now the furthest player forward. And he shows no signs of jogging back. Here's David Villa. Ball comes off either Games, and either Games, in his efforts to avoid it, tumbles over, which will always get you the biggest cheer at any football ground, a referee falling to the floor.
Always a good comedy moment, and it's his second intervention. He's made more clearances than some of the Malaga defenders.
Malaga do go forward. Here's Isco. Isco tries to get round Javier Mascherano. He does so, but he decides to cut back outside.
Tried to beat him twice, didn't he? Beating Mascherano once is tough enough, but here comes Abidal.
Eric Abidal will enter the field of play. The fans rise to their feet. Eric Abidal, deep in prayer, to come on for his final game as Football Club Barcelona player. He enters the fray to the reception that you would expect. He'll come on for Gerard Piqué. Eric Abidal, after 6 years at Barcelona, will play his final 15 minutes for the club to round off this 2012-2013 season.
A highly emotional moment, of course, and we should just soak up the reception he gets. Such a popular player, of course, and not just for his achievements on the field of play, but for everything he's gone through. Liver transplant last year, coming back from that to play again. Amazing that you have a liver transplant, and then within just over a year, you're playing professional football again, and every touch that he takes is going to be met with a cheer. But interestingly, he's playing in the centre of defence. Maybe the position you'd associate him more is left back, but maybe Barca don't feel he can play at left back anymore with the energy that's required to get up and down. We haven't had a full explanation of why they've not given him a contract for next season, but they obviously don't think, to put it crudely, that he's good enough anymore to play for Barcelona, and maybe that lack of energy to get up and down the field as he used to from the fullback position is one of the factors.
Well, here is a touch for Eric Abidal, and Alexis Sanchez is about to come on, likely to replace David Villa, so David Villa will get a round of applause, you would expect. Alexis, who's very lucky to be playing in this game himself, having been involved in a car crash on the way back from the Copa Catalunya final in Lleida, a very nasty high-speed incident on the motorway, but fine to train and fine to play in this game for the final 13 minutes or so.
Yeah, that is good to see him okay from that accident, and he is in excellent form at the moment. Last couple of months maybe being his best for Barcelona.
We'll take through for David Villa, but he's in an offside position.
That would have been a fairy tale ending, wouldn't it, to his time with Barcelona? The subs on the sideline waiting to come on. You've run through onto the through ball, one-on-one with the keeper and slot it home, but was he offside? Ooh, just about. His head was offside, wasn't it? And that's enough. So he didn't get that goal to finish on, but he is coming off.
David Villa to make way for Alexis Sanchez. He applauds for fans at the Camp Nou. They respond in kind. David Villa off on 77 minutes. A smile for him from David Villa. Will that be the last time we see David Villa in a Barcelona shirt? Alexis has been linked with a move away as well. Perhaps killing two birds with one stone, bringing on Alexis Sanchez at this late stage in the game.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if Alexis leaves because he's a very versatile player.
Ball hit by, the save from Jose Manuel Pinto is the shot from Julio Baptista, who thought, why not?
Great technique. We know he's got that technique. And Pinto, yeah, excellent save. Wonder if it was just sneaking wide. It might have hit the post if that hadn't been pushed aside by Pinto, but he didn't know that, obviously. It was excellent stop.
We're going to see another substitution, this time for Malaga. Isco comes off. He's whistled at the Camp Nou. Perhaps next season he won't be so well. It's more of a whistle for Javier Saviola, the former Barcelona player who decided to go to Madrid later on in his career. The ball goes into the area. Pinto again tips it wide. And the follow-up goes over from Nacho Camacho. Well, Pinto has given a lasting impression of himself in this game.
Yeah, that was definitely going in, stabbed towards goal rather unconventionally, but who needs Victor Valdez, hey? Pinto could be the #1 after all next season.
Well, Pinto with a couple of excellent stops in a game in which he's been largely untroubled. We've seen at Malaga change. Javier Saviola comes on. El Conejo, the Rabbit, is playing alongside Baptista up front, a former Barcelona player who went on to play for Madrid via Sevilla as well. He's another of those players who will be likely moved on for Malaga, as we keep on saying. But always receives a rather mixed response when he comes back to the Camp Nou. He didn't sign directly for Real Madrid from Barcelona,
but he played for them, and that's enough. You don't need to do anything more to make yourself unpopular in Barcelona than play for Real Madrid at some point.
Here's Xavi on the ball. Xavi makes the turn. And the Mexican wave is going up around the Camp Nou.
That's all end-of-season stuff, festive atmosphere, but emotional one as well, and there is a lot of controversy in Catalonia about the decision not to give Abidal a new contract. President Sandro Rosell has come under fire from fans for that.
Here's a run forward for Malaga, a sliding challenge from Javier Mascherano, who's had an excellent game today. All swept up by Jordi Alba, who likewise has been in exceptional form. Thiago goes forward for Barcelona. Alexis on the left-hand side. Pass back to Jordi Alba. Barcelona could slow things down if they want to, but they don't appear to want to at all. They're looking for goal number 5. Malaga don't want that to happen. Camacho just tires of Alexis's attempts to keep the ball. Here's Pedro. Pedro closes in on the area. Fabregas wants it. Xavi has it. But he's not picked out. Alexis's shot curls over. Jordi Alba was on the overlap. Xavi was in space. Fabregas was waiting in the middle. The shot goes over.
Yeah, it was the right ball, I think, to find Alexis. Scored from a similar-ish kind of position last week at Espanyol, and was always going to shoot when he got possession in that corner of the penalty area position, finishing the season strongly. As we see the images again of Abidal coming on for the last time, and he's having to rein in his true feelings, you think, somewhat to tone down his disappointment at not being offered a new playing contract at Barca. I wonder where he'll end up. I'm sure he'll get lots of offers from France, maybe Qatar, the UAE as well.
Here's Thiago. Thiago on the ball, lays it off for Alexis. Alexis waits. Jinks inside, waits for the support, finds Jordi Alba. Jordi Alba goes inside. Alba could perhaps have had a shot left-footed there.
Yeah, he could. He didn't like the angle, obviously. Thought it was too sharp an angle. Tried to work it inside onto his right foot, but he just ran into defenders, so that was the wrong decision from him.
Julio Baptista won't get to that ahead of Thiago, who's back doing a sterling job breaking up the Malaga attack.
And good play again by Alba defensively this time. Really commendable footballer for the way he plays with such honesty throughout the game and such energy.
Down the line for Cesc Fabregas. Fabregas tries to pull it back. It didn't look as if he was trying to find Alexis Sanchez. Well, Eliseo robs it away, pickpocketing Cesc Fabregas. Malaga go forward. Javier Saviola is the furthest man up front. Barcelona again just able to close things down and prevent the break.
Yeah, the game running out of steam a little bit now. It's been a good game, entertaining and plenty of chances, open end-to-end. The early stages of the second half, Malaga very much attack-minded, creating opportunities, but maybe now with all the substitutions we've had, it's just lost a little bit of rhythm. It's become a bit more stop-start, and I think the players now just ready for the final whistle, more or less.
Was with Lugano. Back with goalkeeper Willy Caballero. Not the end to the season, but he would have wanted conceding 4 goals. But they've been some fantastic strikes from both sides, including that Morales effort for Malaga in what has been an exhibition of striking and of some excellent defending from Football Club Barcelona.
Yeah, and probably the best goal was Montoya's, and who would have thought that with all the attacking talent that both teams have? If we'd said at the start of the game, best goal's going to be a 20-yard half volley into the bottom corner. Who is it? I don't think we would have said that man, Martin Montoya, who won't want to end his evening with injury. Barca have made all 3 changes, so obviously they'd have to play the last few minutes with 10 men as he gets trodden on by Baptista.
Well, a stud on the ankle for Martin Montoya. Just twists it slightly. Julio Baptista with his tenacious attempt to win back the ball. Montoya is back up to his feet. Will probably jog out the rest of this game, which is 5 minutes from its conclusion here at the Camp Nou. Football Club Barcelona 4, Malaga 1, match day 38 of the Spanish season. Barcelona are going to end it with a win. They're going to end it with 100 points. Malaga are going to suffer defeat in what is the last appearance for this incarnation of their team, this Barcelona team, one that will go down in the record books.
And it continues their horrible run of form against Barca. I think it's now going to be 17 games unbeaten for Barcelona against Malaga. Obviously they have records similar to that against many teams, Barca, because they're so dominant in Spain, but particularly strong against Malaga. Won 15 of those 17, and the last time they were beaten was nearly a decade ago against Malaga. So next season I think you can predict a double again.
Well, some of these players may very well be drinking a double tonight to celebrate the end of the league season. Malaga have got into Europe, which was their objective. Whether they'll be able to play there, as we say, is not known. Barcelona have done everything this season to merit being able to put their feet up. They've got a pre-season Asian tour scheduled for August. We don't know what friendlies they'll have before then, but there will be a well-deserved rest for some of these players who aren't off to the Confederations Cup, of course.
Which a lot of them are, and then there's the under-21 European Championships, and then that Asian tour you mentioned. Before that, they are going to Bayern Munich for a meeting with Pep and his new team. That'll be an interesting one. But Asia, yeah, such an important market for Barcelona now. You have to talk about elite football clubs in that way. The marketing and the commercial aspects of the club are so important, and they'll be looking to convert a couple million new fans.
Alexis onside, will square the ball across, but Wellington on hand to make the save. It's back with Alexis. Alexis again dilly-dallying over the ball, makes a great turn though to get back, and then wastes all of that effort as Pedro slips up in the D and is just booted forward.
Could have cut it back to Jordi Alba there. Alexis didn't seem to see him after he made his couple of twists and turns, but here he comes again.
Well, Abidal is going forward. This would be a dream end to the season for Abidal if he could provide an assist or get a goal. Well, the Malaga defence have been caught dallying on the ball.
Well, Wellington just let it go. It's almost as though he wanted someone to score from Abidal's cross. It would have been a fairy tale, yeah, if he'd gone forward to play a part in a goal, especially if this cross had reached him. I wonder if they get a penalty in the last few minutes where they let Abidal take it.
Well, Leo Messi not on the pitch to add to his tally. This would be really the only thing at stake, an Abidal penalty if he were to take it, but that's very much hypothetical. As we have Thiago on the ball, he waits for his teammates to get back on side. Puts it over to Alexis, he tries a nonchalant first touch ball. It almost goes into the path of Games again. Fabregas into the middle. Willy Caballero has it well sighted. Pedro couldn't quite turn it in, not for the first time this evening.
Great ball from Fabregas over the top. Pedro didn't seem to attack it with much conviction. I wonder if he was caught in two minds as to whether he should try and attack it with his head or let it drop to him on the volley, and in the end he didn't really do either, but lovely ball from Fabregas.
Well, we're entering into the final couple of minutes of play. I can't imagine that this will be prolonged any further with too much injury time.
Now, we've just had the substitutions, haven't we, which will add a bit on, so maybe 2-3 minutes at the most, but yeah, I think the players now are ready for the end of the game, and for Barcelona they're ready to pay a final tribute to Abidal. They're all going to gather in the centre circle after the game. Understand they're all going to wear a t-shirt in tribute to him, and there's going to be a presentation from Carlos Puyol as well. So I think these players and the fans certainly will be turning their thoughts to that now, so it's worth hanging around to see after the game.
Malaga in possession with Jeremy Toulalan. He's robbed away by Jordi Alba, though. Alexis moves into the middle. Alexis pulls it back. It's a great little move. And Pedro's shot is saved by Caballero. It's still on, though, for Thiago. Thiago across the face of goal. Alexis again. Alexis goes for goal. It's fumbled by Caballero, but he picks up the rebound.
Well, they should have added to their lead, really, in the last few minutes. Barca have created some good chances. Lovely ball, reverse pass from Alexis there. Pedro's first touch was poor. It didn't allow it to get out of his feet. He had no backlift to work with, so he couldn't get the power on it. And then Alexis' shot from the edge of the box was easy for Caballero.
Ball into the box. Abidal had put it into the path of Javier Saviola, but it's taken away from him. Final couple of seconds of regular time. How much to be added on in this game, which currently stands at 4-1 in Barcelona's favour. Abidal gets the touch. Well, they just want Abidal to be on the ball when the final whistle blows. We'll have to wait a couple of minutes for that.
They just want Abidal to get forward, don't they? Make another of those runs that we saw from him a minute ago. We get another corner and just allow him to try to attack it. All the Malaga players stand back. After you, Eric, have a goal on us. No, I don't think they'd do that, but this Abidal story isn't going to go away in Barcelona, and despite the season they've had, there is, I don't think it's unfair to emphasise this, quite a lot of disquiet amongst Barcelona fans about the way that Abidal was treated, the way that Thiago is in a position where he could leave for just 18 million.
Here is Thiago.
That'll be talked about over the summer.
Alexis has put on the afterburners. Alba hadn't picked him out, though. He went all the way across field. Camacho brings it out. Barcelona will have one final attack. Mascherano release it over to the right. Caballero looks to claim, but Lugano had headed it away. And now Eliseo thumps it upfield. Abidal will claim. And we're about to have the final whistle in about 30 seconds' time. Barcelona will keep on pushing, although at a somewhat more languid pace. To Montoya on the far side. Montoya puts it in, nobody there waiting in the middle, but Jesus Games takes no chances. It's going to be a corner.
Well, come on.
Abidal is upfield.
That's what they want. Get Abidal forward, put the cross in and let him attack it, but they've not done. They've taken it short, as Barca do, and that's offside.
Well, they play it to Cesc Fabregas, who is in an offside position. Pedro looks up and has a brief discussion with Fabregas. And the final whistle blows on this game and on the 2012-2013 season. The final game at the Camp Nou for this year ends. Football Club Barcelona 4, Malaga 1. A goal on 4 minutes from David Villa, added to by goals from Fabregas and Montoya before 16 minutes was up. In the second half, A goal from Andres Iniesta and Pedro Morales getting a consolation goal for Malaga. It ends 4-1 here at the Camp Nou. Eric Abidal's final game will have a tribute to him, but we've seen a decent game full of attacks this evening here at the Camp Nou.
Well, an evening of celebration for Barcelona, but all of the plaudits going to Eric Abidal, of course, who is waving goodbye after 6 years service to this club. He walks away with every trophy he possibly could have with Barcelona. Fantastic credit to the team. Of course, they walked away with more records again after this final day victory over Malaga as well. There is a last presentation for Eric Abidal on the field as well to say a proper farewell. But Barcelona rounding off the season in the league in perfect style with 4 goals against Malaga, a 4-1 victory. Thanks for joining us here on beIN Sport. Of course, the drama is only just starting. Stay with us for more live.